sense it will be a limited meaning to that verse. I'm not going to forgive mushrikeen. That means I'll punish them somehow and then they will be forgiven. Now if you understand the phenomena of forgiveness and punishment after death, then you will know that this is the only possible course open to reason. Because a mushrik is one who believes that his reformation can take place, all his interests lie in certain directions, which are not the true directions. That is to say, not in the direction of Allah. So each step he is taking is in false direction. Those who believe in true God and act bad deeds, their direction is not wrong. They falter and make missteps, but their road is correct. They are moving in the correct direction. So those who have gone astray in a totally wrong direction, they have to be brought back to this direction. And this process of bringing them back to this direction is in itself a punishment. Because they would have gone so much, they would have died in a situation with beliefs that there is that God and I'm going to meet him and this, and he would come to my aid. When he dies, there is no such thing. Now, if Allah forgives him, then there will be no end of this folly in the world. People are already shirk-minded, inclined towards idolatry of many sorts. So if Allah forgives, that is to say, Allah will say, all right, those were the gods you followed, and in that direction all your efforts were spent, but I love you, all right. That is so illogical. And again, it would not be possible as far as these people are concerned who die with a different frame. Now I am going to further analyze, then you will understand why I say it is not possible. The fact is that Jahannam and Jannat, according to us, hell and heaven, are not something which are created outside us. They are created in a long process. And the fulfillment of your desires, the fulfillment of your ideals, is in real essence your paradise. And you are being deprived of all your ideals and finding yourself, in a situation where you have lost all the efforts of your life. That is hell, that realization. So, if somebody is building his soul all the time in the direction of imaginary gods and has developed his affinities for something which is not there, it would take some time for that soul to rectify itself. That soul would find itself blind to God and capable of seeing things which are not there. So that is total blindness. They will be looking in a direction and they will be accustomed to looking in that direction. Their tastes would be developed in that direction. All their desires would be flowing in that direction. And yet when they die, they would find there is nothing. And they would not be mentally prepared to meet Allah because the truth will be too heavy for them, too difficult for them to follow. And it would in fact hurt them rather than help them. For instance, if somebody has closed his eyes for many years, let him open his eyes in the bright sun and then he would know what truth is. That light would hurt him very deeply. So suddenly to travel from total falsehood to entire truth is not possible. that phenomena of gradual reformation and change that would add new senses to the soul, that would take a very, very long time, because it is not previously provided in the system. That is one way of looking at it. Why it will take a longer time, why it should be so difficult after the death, that has been described in the Holy Quran Bible. Allah says that Ma khalqukum wa la khalqukum wa la basukum, ya wa ma khalqukum wa la basukum illa ka nafsin wahida. That you will be, your recreation would be like your first birth. Now, if you have congenital diseases, they are of two types. Some diseases deprive you of your fundamental organs. Those organs can never be added, however long that child may live. He has lived for 9 months only in the tummy of his mother, in the belly of her mother, or his mother, and he has lived 100 some years after that, yet no phenomena on earth could create the lost eyesight. But there are so many other diseases and defects with which a child can be born and cured. This is the difference which the Holy Quran is making between shirk and ordinary sins. Of course, both are diseases and maladies, but there are some maladies which will require a much longer suffering with a sense of helplessness, where your organs are not well. And there are some sufferings which are temporary as compared to the others, where there is no loss of organs. And in such cases, the hell would be shortish, and of course, the suffering would be much more diminished than in other cases. That shows that there will have to be an ultimate transformation again before they are forgiven. Like this death, they may face another death after a long course of suffering, which will be much longer to their present life. In comparison, you can conceive of the same example. If a man living his life after he has come out, has been delivered from his mother's belly. So that is, generally speaking, a relationship, a sort of relationship, not exactly measured in those terms, but as an analogy I am to tell you. So as I conceive things, a mushrik would be born in the new life as a blind person who never had eyes in this life. A sinner may be born with bad sight, which could be improved by spectacles like you are wearing. You see? Some would be rectified with human aids. That is forgiveness. If Allah helps you from His own and removes your defect, that is forgiveness. But Allah reminds you that according to our own law, we are not going to break our tradition and our own laws. We made it very clear to you that unless you develop all your organs in this world, you will be deprived of the same organs in the next world. وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ أَعْمَى مَنْ كَانَ فِي هَذِهِ أَعْمَى فَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ أَعْمَى. Whoever is blind in this world will remain blind in the second world. Why are they not forgiven? Because they are the mushrikeen. They are the ones who look elsewhere from Allah. Or also those who opposed Allah and opposed diametrically the phenomena of prophethood. They would also be raised blind. So a new transformation according to my vision would take place. That life would come to an end and a new era would begin for them. Then they would be forgiven. That is to say, passing through that period penance,